recorded. You will now rejoin the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, we are ready to go.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I do enjoy the roll call. It brings back memories. Call the Monroe County Industrial Development Corp. Meeting of August 11th, 2020 to order. Our first meeting of our first piece of business is the approval of the minutes from our July 14th board meeting. Happy to entertain any questions or concerns. Otherwise, I am seeking a motion to approve those minutes.
A motion by PC first.
Second, Joe Rizzo.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Before I proceed, I did miss that. Do we have anyone from the hospital on? Did we want to jump to that, or are we staying in order this morning?
You can stay in order.
Okay. We're going to move on to our local labor monitoring report. I missed him on the roll call if he was there, but I think Kevin might be on the call if you have any questions. There were no labor exemptions in July. For Kevin,
I am here. I have the. Sure. You want me to just read the July monthly report that I have here?
That'd be great, Kevin.
Sure. So this is our July 2020 monthly report. Covers our visits between the 1st and 31st of July. During this period, we made 4 monthly site visits. There were 0 follow-up visits during this period. Check with residency with 23 workers. There were 0 non-compliant as of July 31st. The monitored sites were in compliance at the time of our inspection. There were 0 signs delivered. The Strong Museum is now basically on hold until April. That's when they'll begin the 2nd phase of the expansion. And then the only other project we're auditing is
Joining the meeting.
And St. Anne's obviously is still a little bit, difficult with inspections as far as that's concerned, just because of the safety and security of the building, and a little more sensitive of the inspections we're doing right now.
Questions for Kevin? We'd always like more signs delivered, but
Yeah, I hear that.
well, great. Without any questions, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You as well. Greg, we have you on the line. If you'll just run us through a quick financial update.
Sure. Financials through July 2020. You can see our statement of financial position. And as most of you know, the majority of our assets are tied up in our cash balances. And as you can see, going down a little bit, our emergency loan receivable now sits out there at about $1.85 million of the total $2 million committed at this point. The other balances with respect to accounts payable and accrued liabilities are just, again, those are timing differences that we're trying to, again, some things don't get paid, and for a few months we try to accrue that to match income and expenses, so we have a better accrual-based statement as we move throughout the year. So overall, July was a very good month with respect to the bond income coming in from the prep school. If you go down to our statement of activities here, again, we have our actual column, we have our budget column, we have our prior year actual column, so we can have a little comparison there. So, and then one comment, the budget is the original budget. This is not our recasted budget. We chose to leave the original budget numbers in here that were approved by the board. So these are not recasted budget numbers that I think we'll touch on probably later in our call. But overall revenue, and it was $350,000 through July. We never budget for bond income, and that's that $225,000 that was earned in July. So that's good, and that was expected in terms of our recasted budget. And then in terms of our total expenses, we're at about $614,000 year to date. we were at about 700, a little over 700,000 last year at this time. The majority of the decrease is in obviously our economic development expenses, which we chose to not participate in a few different programs. The incentive programs is more of a timing thing, based on how we're recording things this year versus last year. We're trying to get a more accurate picture based on accruals-based programs and things like that. So overall, right now, and then the $1 million that we received from the IDA to support the emergency loan program is shown as a contribution currently. So right now through July, showing 737,000 to the plus. If we take that out, that $1 million out, we're running at about a normal apples to apples comparison, about a $260,000 deficit. Now that's better than what we had originally budgeted of 770,000, and it's better than our 597,000 that we lost. Our deficit was in the prior year, so all signs good from that aspect. And like I said, I'm sure we'll touch on some of our recasted numbers, but overall, July is looking good compared to not only our budget, but also prior year at this point in time. And that's all I have for July.
That's great. Thank you, Greg. Really thorough. So the bond income is the prep school. Have we also closed the U of R bond? Was that in August?
We have not closed that yet.
Oh, actually,
Not closed.
we did. It'll show up in your August report.
Yes. Okay. Right. Not through July, but August. Yes.
That check's in the mail.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. Okay. Hey, questions for Greg? Again, thank you, Greg. That was thorough.
All set.
Great. Speaking of bonds, then, thanks again, Greg. Speaking of bonds, Rachel, I'll turn it over to the request that we have before us.
Yeah, so we have a resolution authorizing the issuance of revenue bonds in one or more series in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $35 million for the Highland Hospital of Rochester for a project consisting of the vertical expansion of its tower. This will include a mechanical penthouse and additional private surgical beds. The new money component of the project will also include construction and renovation to various areas of the hospital. And lastly, the project will include the refunding of the outstanding principal amount of the $11 million original principal amount DASNY bonds issued in 2010. There are some representatives on the line from Highland as well, Peter.
That's great. I would invite them to please walk us through your project. That's exciting.
Hey, good morning. This is Matt Wells. Yeah, go ahead, Brenda. Yeah, I was gonna say, Brenda, you're gonna be in a position to give the better review. Thank you.
Okay, so this is Brenda Michaud. I'm the new director of facilities at Highland. I've been here since winter and then fell into the pandemic, so bear with me. The expansion would include 80,000 square foot single patient rooms on 3 of the floors with an unused floor below there for down the road to be determined. This would move us from semi-private rooms to private rooms for 99% of our rooms, and that will put us more back in the marketplace for where our competitors are and get us ahead of the curve from other hospitals locally. It'll help with patient care, infection prevention, and be an all-around better patient experience. That's my brief summary. We'll be adding 60 single patient rooms.
Thank you, Brenda. Matthew, do you want to comment on this at all as well?
Yeah, I think Brenda and Rachel generally covered it, but obviously if you have questions, happy to weigh in. I think perhaps the only other thing to add is it's an expansion to the existing hospital, and there is a refunding component as well, where they're going to be refunding certain 2010 bonds that were issued by DASNY to the tune of about $7.5 million that is outstanding.
Well, I know this has been a long. All these projects kind of take some time, and thank you for sharing a pretty all-inclusive package here for us to review. Have you experienced any further delays, or are there any approvals that expire? Maybe this is more for Rachel, that have kind of automatically been extended through this pandemic. Are there any estimated delays to completion that you're seeing because of the COVID situation?
Yeah, and Brenda, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we went through a pretty good secret process with Rachel's colleagues from the Bond Council Office at Harris Beach, and it looked like they got renewals for their building process in mid-March, and everything looks good from moving forward in construction. We have all the internal approval hospital, and I think everything we need from the Department of Health and locally to move the project forward. Brenda, I don't have anything ancillary to that.
I do not. Thank you.
You bet.
This is Joe Rizzo. I just had a broader question about the initiative for the hospital. Maybe you could answer is that, in terms of the going from semi-private to private rooms, and I saw the language about reducing the risk of hospital-acquired infections. Are there any other besides just kind of looking at the rooms themselves in terms of any new technologies or process improvements or things that are being incorporated in addition to, the bricks and mortar in terms of the addition that you could share?
Hi. We're working with our architects in order to look at the whole flow of the building here, I think, in the next couple of weeks, to see if there's anything that we can do from a design standpoint in order to get us through pandemics in the future, because this is kind of a way of life now. So we'll be looking at negative pressure rooms or air exchanges or the like, or patient flow, in order to better design the area to be safe for everyone.
Excellent. Thank you very much, because in terms of just the physical movement here, but in terms of an anticipation of the future in the new world, but very much appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't have any other questions.
I think the only thing I'm compelled to restate that there is a local labor requirement. I did have a comment on Appendix D of our package. If local labor is not available, it does require a waiver. I see on Appendix D we have our independent auditor as Bonadio. Is that correct?
Yes.
For that waiver. Okay.
Great. I'm sorry, Peter. We are not Bonadio is not the independent auditor for the IDC anymore.
Right. So I thought that is not intro.
That's Mango.
So right, for the financial audit, but Bonadio does our verified exemptions for local labor.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
So it appears all the documentation is correct.
Yes.
Brenda and Matt, thank you so much. Robin, do we need to excuse for further discussion, or?
No, the hospital representatives are welcome to stay on the line for the motion.
Okay. Okay. With that, then I am seeking a motion to approve the bond and the amount requested.
Motion to approve. This is Joe Rizzo.
Thank you, Joe.
Dave Brooks will second. Dave Brooks seconds.
Thank you, Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate the effort and time of the board.
Excellent, thank you. Do you need me for anything further?
No, thank you very much for joining.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone. Be safe.
You too.
Okay. I guess we'll move on. There was a meeting of the executive committee yesterday. Andy chairs that. Andy,
Joining the meeting.
Matt Hurlbut, Greater Rochester Enterprise.
Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning.
Andy, if I've got you on the line, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Peter. So yesterday, Peter, Zach, Hanif, Jeff, Rachel, Anna, myself, and then Matt as well discussed Greater Rochester Enterprise economic gardening. The board may remember earlier this year there was a proposal for $150,000 level of support for this program, which we initially supported last year. There was a revised proposal put in at the $50,000 level, which is a third of the original amount. The executive committee, actually, I think Jeff brought it up, and Peter also commented, the budgeted amount was removed originally from the budget that we just talked about. So the numbers that you see through April do not reflect, do not reflect the $50,000 that we're going to recommend be allocated to this. But in light of the additional revenues that have flowed in, and in light of what appears to be a pretty significantly positive variance compared to our last year-to-date performance, even inclusive of the $50,000, we're going to recommend that the board consider and approve the economic gardening proposal at the $50,000 level to ensure continued economic cultivation beyond the current pandemic-laden environment. So that's what we discussed yesterday, and that's what we're recommending to the board.
Great, thank you, Andy. Matt, again, thanks for joining. Can you spend a minute and just take us through the economic gardening?
Yes, first of all, I want to thank you for your support last year. It was significant for us. As you recall, we were in a same status where we've been running this program since 2012, and really MIT and others suggest 80% of your economic growth comes from within. These second stage companies that we serve through this program, privately held firms that are selling products and services outside the region, between $1 to $50 million in revenue, 10 to 99 employees, are really the bread and butter of the local economy. They are 11% of the firms in a metropolitan area, but account for 36% of the jobs. And I think in New York State, we would even argue that they probably make up closer to 90% of local economic growth. So the program is significant, and it really focuses on innovation and wealth creation. And again, we believe, I believe as Anna and the staff do it at Monroe County, that this program is going to be a key technical assistance program as we break out from the COVID crisis and companies adjust, identify new markets, new sales leads, and sell their wares outside the region to really get that revenue back up. And we're at the same point this year where we're not able to take new applicants. We've got at least 6 good firms that are ready to apply to the program, so the timing is excellent. And we also have seen some significant expansion activity outside of this program. eHealth Technologies, Invative comes to mind, Tell-True Manufacturing. There's a lot of good firms that we've served through this program. And interestingly enough, the National Center for Economic Gardening is always pleased with the quality of entrepreneurs that we have here in Rochester. In fact, Aurelio was just quoted in their national newsletter, having been through the program recently, as they're identifying new opportunities, both on their marketing, search engine optimization, and in the sales funnel and the technology that they're working on here in Rochester. So I appreciate your support. And I think it also helps bring us closer to the Monroe County Economic Development staff and better serve those companies that are really poised to break out from this pandemic.
Great, thanks so much, Matt. Questions for Matt, as long as we have them. We have the resource here today.
This is Joe Rizzo. It's not a question, but I just wanted to emphasize, you know, our Genie working with GRE. This program is very, very important for the community. It's been going on for, as Matt said, for a very, very long time, and especially during this period of time, support for this initiative is very, very important. I'm glad that our organization can help support the effort. So,
thanks, Joe. Anyone else? Again, I want to thank Matt for the work that you're doing, and with that, I'd ask for a motion to approve the request.
Pete, I'd like to make the motion.
Thank you, Pete.
second, Joe Rizzo.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any opposed? And any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Congratulations, Matt. Thanks again for your continued work. We need you.
Oh, thank you. I very much appreciate the support, and I hope you're going to enjoy this beautiful day, another beautiful day in Rochester. So, have a good one.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, great. Rachel, do you want me to have Zach run through the governance committee first, or did you want to comment first on some proposed amendments?
Peter, having Zach go first would be great, and then I can chime in.
All right. The governance committee met yesterday and reviewed the proposed changes to the certificate of incorporation and the bylaws, which include expanding our geographic area. We unanimously agreed to these changes, and if anyone has any questions, I'll let it go back to Rachel.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
It really is that concise, I think, but Rachel, if you want to just maybe give a little background and walk us through, then I'll ask for a motion.
Sure. It really is that concise. It's a matter of adding that our powers to issue bonds and loans would extend to our surrounding counties. For the bond issuances, we'd have to be able to draw a nexus to Monroe County in order to be able to issue the bonds. The motivation for this is twofold. First, to expand our SBA loan portfolio, and secondly, because we received an inquiry from a large health system headquartered in Monroe County for an approximately $315 million bond deal, for which they would like MCIDC to issue the bonds versus a state issuer. So we are asking the board to consider this change to allow us to take an extra jurisdictional and regional approach to economic development, in partnership, of course, with the counties that are involved in the bond deal, so that it is a collaborative approach for the health system.
This is Pete Pecor. I wanted to confirm what we talked about yesterday, and looking back from the standpoint of what we've done in our Finger Lakes region, the 9 counties that we're talking about, we have in the last 10 years have had about 6 regional initiatives, been very successful, and I'm really excited about the fact that we are now identifying those counties to be involved in our umbrella. So we've been very successful with the 9 counties, and I know this will be successful also.
Thanks. As I did yesterday, I endorse your statement, Pete. I think that this is a logical move. The only other addition I had was as we identify these other counties, and we kind of enumerate the counties for you, as we identify our counterpart entities there, you know, make myself available on it. We want to, on a friendly basis, kind of introduce ourselves as we figure out how any revenue share, as it comes up, will work. If there are no other questions, I'd ask for a motion to approve the various amendments, or a couple amendments to the bylaws, mission statement.
I'll make a movement, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Requesting a second.
Second, Pete Pecor.
Thank you. That probably means there's a whole bunch of ayes out there, but all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. I need to kind of ask for another motion here to move into an executive session.
I'll make a motion for that, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. A second?
Second, Phil Smith.
Thank you, Phil. Do we need to stop recording or?
Robin's doing that right now. So anyone